Come to my office, alone, after lights out. 8 words. The American sergeant stands in the doorway pointing at Kimiko. Every woman in the barracks stops breathing, stops blinking. The kerosene lamp flickers. Shadows dance on wooden walls like ghosts already mourning. Kimiko Hayashi, 22, Imperial Army nurse. She hasn't eaten in 3 days, hasn't slept in 4, and now this. The other women grab her arms, fingers digging into flesh. Someone whispers a prayer, someone else starts crying. But the sergeant waits, patient. His boots don't move. 57 Japanese women in this camp. First female POWs the Americans have processed on Okinawa. June 1945. The war isn't over yet. And the propaganda. God, the propaganda. America jin wa kemono da. Onna wa mazu okasare. Sore kara korosareru. Americans are beasts. Women are violated first, then killed. Every woman here memorized those words during training, repeated them until the syllables tasted like iron, like blood, like certainty. Kimiko's hands tremble as she stands. The paper crane in her pocket, folded from a ration wrapper given by her sister before deployment, crinkles against her thigh. She touches it. Anchor. Memory. Maybe the last thing she'll feel before... She doesn't finish the thought. The sergeant turns, walks, expects her to follow. Masumi Endo, 19, signals operator, grabs Kimiko's wrist. Don't go, her voice cracks. Whatever you do, don't go alone. But there's no choice. There's never a choice. Not for prisoners, not for women, not in war. The walk takes 47 seconds. Kimiko counts every step. 32 steps across the muddy compound, 15 steps up the wooden stairs. The building smells like cigarettes and paper. American paper, clean, white, nothing like home. The office door is open. Inside, a desk, a lamp, a chair. The sergeant stands beside the window, looking out at the darkness, his back to her. Vulnerable position, strange for a predator. Kimiko's throat tightens. She calculates distance to the door, weight of the lamp, sharpness of the letter opener on the desk. If he moves toward her, if he tries, she'll fight. She'll lose, but she'll fight. He turns. His eyes are red, not from anger, from crying. The sergeant reaches for something on his desk. Kimiko flinches, braces for the worst. It's not a weapon, not a rope, not restraints. It's a photograph. A woman, Japanese features, American dress. I need your help, he says. His voice breaks on the last word. She doesn't understand. Not yet. The photograph shows a woman in a Sunday dress, pearl earrings, hair pinned American style. But the face, the cheekbones, the eyes, the slight downturn of lips, unmistakably Japanese. Sergeant Thomas Bradley, 34, sets the photo down like it might shatter. My wife, he says. Noriko. Kimiko's brain stutters. Wife, Japanese wife, American soldier. The words don't fit together. They're wrong shapes, wrong colors, wrong everything. Kare wa Nihonjin to kekkon shiteru? He's married to a Japanese woman? Her confusion tastes metallic, fear and disbelief mixing on her tongue like copper. Bradley pulls something else from his desk. A letter, already written, English words she can half read, names she doesn't recognize, an address in Hiroshima. Her parents, Bradley says. They're in Hiroshima. We're in Hiroshima. Before... He stops, swallows. The lamp flickers again. August 6, 1945. 3 weeks ago. 80,000 dead in a single flash. The number sounds fake, sounds impossible. But the burns on arriving POWs tell the truth. Melted skin, shadow prints on concrete. A city turned to ash. I don't know if they're alive. Bradley's voice drops to a whisper. I can't write Japanese. Not well enough. Not for this. The letter in his hand trembles. I need you to write it, in Japanese. Tell them their daughter is safe. Tell them she's waiting. Tell them... His voice breaks completely. Tell them I'll bring her home, after the war. I'll bring her back to them. Kimiko stares. The request makes no sense. She's a prisoner, an enemy. She cleaned wounds of men who killed Americans. And now this American wants her to write a love letter to his in-laws? The paper crane in her pocket presses against her thigh. Still there, still real. She should refuse, should stay silent, should remember her training. Americans are beasts. Americans lie. Americans take everything and give nothing. But his eyes are still red. His hands still shake. And the photograph, Noriko, in her Sunday dress, looks back at Kimiko with a face that could be her cousin, her neighbor, her sister. Kare wa honto ni kanojo wo aishiteru. He actually loves her. The realization cracks something inside her, a wall she didn't know she'd built. Kimiko sits, takes the pen. Her fingers remember the characters before her mind agrees. First stroke, second. The ink flows like confession, but as she writes, a different thought surfaces. Her own parents are in Nagasaki. She hasn't heard from them in 8 months, and 3 days ago, another bomb fell. The pen stops moving. Nagasaki, August 9th. 40,000 dead. Her parents live 6 kilometers from the city center. Lived, maybe lived. The uncertainty is a knife sliding between her ribs. Bradley notices. What's wrong? Kimiko's throat closes. She can't say it. Can't admit that while she's writing hope for a stranger's family, her own family might be ash, might be shadows burned into pavement, might be nothing. The ink bleeds into paper. A tear has fallen. She didn't feel it drop. Watashi no kazoku wa doko ni iru no. My family, where are they? Bradley leans forward. You have family in Japan? She nods, once, twice. The motion feels mechanical, a puppet whose strings are fraying. Where? Nagasaki. The word comes out broken. 6 kilometers from where? She can't finish, doesn't need to. Bradley's face changes. The grief there mirrors her own. 2 enemies, 2 families, 2 bombs. The math is unbearable. He opens his desk drawer, pulls out a form, Red Cross insignia, prisoner correspondence request. Write to them, he says. Tonight. I'll make sure it goes out with the morning transport. Kimiko stares at the form. POWs can send mail. She knew this theoretically. But theory and reality are different countries. Theory doesn't account for fear, doesn't account for the belief trained into her bones that any kindness is a trap. Why? The question escapes before she can stop it. Why help me? Bradley looks at the photograph of Noriko, then back at Kimiko. Because somewhere in Hiroshima, someone's daughter is waiting to hear if her parents are alive. And somewhere in Nagasaki, your parents might be waiting to hear if you're alive. He pauses. Same prayer, different address. The paper crane in her pocket suddenly weighs 1,000 pounds. She takes the form, fills out her parents' address. Her handwriting shakes. The characters look foreign, her own language made strange by trembling fingers. When she finishes, Bradley takes both letters, his to Hiroshima, hers to Nagasaki. He places them in the same envelope. They'll go together, he says. Tomorrow. Kimiko stands. Her legs feel hollow. The walk back to the barracks will be 32 steps across mud, but it feels like crossing an ocean. At the door she pauses, looks back. The photograph, she says. Noriko. She looks kind. Bradley almost smiles. Almost. She'd like you, he says. She'd understand. Kimiko walks into the darkness. Behind her, the paper crane sits on Bradley's desk. She forgot to take it. The barracks door creaks open. 0300 hours. Every woman is awake. Kimiko steps inside. 56 pairs of eyes find her in the darkness, scanning, searching, looking for torn fabric, blood, bruises, the evidence they expect, the proof of what Americans do. They find nothing. Masumi Endo pushes through the group. Her face is pale, tear tracks on her cheeks. What happened? What did he do? Nothing. Kimiko's voice sounds hollow. He wanted me to write a letter. Silence, the kind that suffocates. Then laughter, but not the good kind, the sharp kind, the kind that cuts. A letter? Satsuki Mori, 26, former Army translator, steps forward, arms crossed, eyes narrow. You were gone 3 hours. For a letter? Kanojo wa uso wo tsuiteru. She's lying. The whisper starts in the back, spreads like fire through dry grass. Within seconds, everyone is looking at Kimiko differently, not with relief, with suspicion. What did you really do? Another voice, younger, frightened. What did you agree to? Kimiko's stomach drops. She understands suddenly, horribly. They don't believe her because they can't believe her. The propaganda is too deep, the training too thorough. If Americans are beasts, then any woman who returns unharmed must have. I didn't, her voice cracks. I swear, he has a Japanese wife. He wanted me to write to her parents in Hiroshima. That's all. That's Japanese wife? Satsuki laughs again, bitter. Now you're insulting us. No American marries Japanese. We're the enemy. It's true. Kimiko's hands are shaking. I saw the photograph. Noriko. Her name is Noriko. Pearl earrings, Sunday dress. He was crying. No one is listening. The word starts as a whisper, becomes a hiss, fills the barracks like poison gas. Ianfu. Comfort woman. Collaborator. Traitor. The accusation hits Kimiko like a physical blow. She stumbles backward. The women who comforted her yesterday held her, prayed with her, shared their rations, now look at her like she's contaminated, untouchable, unforgivable. Her bunk is in the corner. When she reaches it, the woman beside her shifts away, creates distance, a gap that wasn't there this morning. Kimiko lies down, stares at the ceiling. The paper crane is gone, still on Bradley's desk, and she feels its absence like a missing limb. 3 hours ago she was terrified of what the American might do. Now she's terrified of what her own people have done. Outside, boots crunch on gravel. Another sergeant approaching. Another name about to be called. Masumi Endo, come to my office. Alone. The words hit like artillery. Masumi, the same woman who grabbed Kimiko's wrist, who begged her not to go, now stands frozen. Her face drains of color. White as bone, white as surrender flags. She looks at Kimiko, a question in her eyes. A desperate, silent question. Was it true? The letter? The photograph? The crying American? Kimiko nods. Once. Slowly. But Masumi's feet don't believe. Her legs don't believe. Her training doesn't believe. She walks toward the door like walking toward a firing squad, each step heavier than the last. Shindara, sword at D, Chijoku Yori Mashida. If I die, that's fine. Better than shame. Kimiko hears the whisper, feels it in her chest. Because 3 hours ago she thought the same thing, planned the same ending, calculated the distance to the letter opener. Masumi disappears into the darkness. The barracks waits. Minutes stretch into hours, or feel like hours. Time becomes elastic when terror fills the gaps. Some women pray, some women cry, some women sharpen makeshift weapons from broken chopsticks, preparing for what they believe is inevitable. Satsuki Mori watches the door. She won't come back the same, none of us will. But Kimiko is watching something else. Bradley's office window, visible through the barrack slats. The lamp is lit. 2 shadows move inside. No sounds of struggle, no screams, just movement, ordinary movement. Then, the clatter of typewriter keys. The sound is so unexpected, so utterly mundane, that Kimiko almost laughs, almost cries. The sergeant isn't hurting Masumi, he's making her type. 90 minutes later, the barracks door opens. Masumi stands in the doorway, intact, untorn, eyes wide with something that isn't fear, something that might be confusion, might be disbelief, might be the first crack in a lifetime of certainty. In her hand, extra rations, payment, for work. Masumi's voice trembles. He needed someone to type intake forms. 400 new prisoners arriving tomorrow. He asked if I could type. I said yes. He paid me. The barracks is silent. Then Satsuki. That's impossible. I typed for 90 minutes. Masumi holds up her fingers, ink-stained. These are real. The forms were real. The payment was real. She walks to Kimiko's bunk, sits down, doesn't ask permission. There was a paper crane on his desk, Masumi says quietly. Yours? Kimiko nods. He kept it. Masumi pauses. Why would he keep it? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Outside, another name is about to be called. Masumi kneels, full formal bow, forehead pressed to wooden floor, the position of absolute apology, the position reserved for unforgivable wrongs. I accused you in my heart, her voice breaks. I didn't say it aloud, but I thought it. I thought you collaborated. I was wrong. Kimiko stares down at her, the woman who grabbed her wrist, who begged her not to go, who, in her own terror, assumed the worst, not because she was cruel, because she was trained. They were all trained. Watashi tachi wa uso wo oshirareta, subete no uso wo. We were taught lies, all of them. The realization spreads through the barracks like fever. If the Americans aren't beasts, if the summons means typing, not violation, then what else was false? The training films showing American soldiers burning villages, the pamphlets describing systematic rape, the officers who swore death was preferable to capture? Fumiko Nishida, 31, former naval communications officer, speaks first. I saw Americans execute prisoners in the Philippines. I saw it. Did you? Satsuki's voice has changed, softer now, questioning. Or did you see a film that told you it happened? Fumiko opens her mouth, closes it. Her certainty, iron-forged certainty, wavers. I was there, she says. But the statement sounds like a question. The barracks divides. Some women cling to the old beliefs, they have to. The alternative, that they fought, killed, watched friends die for lies, is too heavy, too crushing. Better to believe the Americans are simply clever, hiding their cruelty, waiting. But others, like Masumi, like Kimiko, begin to see the cracks. The paper crane returns that night. Not from Bradley, from an American private who doesn't speak Japanese. He simply places it on Kimiko's bunk and walks away. No explanation, no demand. Kimiko holds it. The creases are deeper now. Someone else has held it, studied it, maybe even understood what it meant. He didn't have to return it, Masumi says, watching. He could have thrown it away. Why didn't he? Neither of them has an answer, but the question itself is significant. For the first time, they're asking why an enemy would be kind, not assuming the kindness is a trick, not waiting for the cruelty to reveal itself, just asking. Outside, a jeep pulls into camp, new arrivals. The engine shuts off. Boots hit gravel. A new American voice carries across the compound. Different tone, different energy. The women near the window tense. That one, Fumiko whispers, that one looks at us differently. She's right. Lieutenant Cole has arrived. Lieutenant Raymond Cole walks like he owns the ground beneath him. His eyes move across the women's barracks the way a buyer examines merchandise. Slow, appraising, calculating. He stops at the window, looks inside, smiles. The smile is wrong. Everyone sees it. Everyone feels it. The difference between Bradley's exhausted grief and this man's hunger. You. Cole points through the slats. His finger finds Chio Nakamura, 24, captured Army clerk. Small frame, delicate features. She's been here 3 weeks. Hasn't spoken since arriving. My quarters, now. Not a request, not a summons, a command. Korega, honto no America da. This is the real America. Masumi grabs Chio's arm. The grip is desperate. Don't go. Whatever you do. But Cole's patience is a thin wire. I said now. Chio stands. Her movements are mechanical, resigned. The look in her eyes says she expected this. Expected the propaganda to finally prove true. Expected the nightmare to begin. She takes one step toward the door. Then Bradley appears. The sergeant doesn't run, doesn't shout. He simply walks between Cole and the barracks entrance, positions his body like a wall. His face is calm, His voice is ice. "Lieutenant, this prisoner is under Geneva protection. Article 3, no violence or intimidation against POWs. Cole's smile flickers. "I'm not intimidating anyone, Sergeant. I'm requesting her presence." "At 2300 hours? In your private quarters, without documentation?" The silence is a blade. Cole steps closer. "Careful, Bradley. You're a sergeant. I'm an officer. You sure you want to have this conversation?" Bradley doesn't move. "I'm sure that if you touch her, I'll have paperwork on Colonel Harrison's desk by 0600, and I'm sure the colonel likes his promotions more than he likes covering for officers who can't control themselves." The compound holds its breath. Cole's jaw tightens. His fists clench. For a moment, violence hangs in the air like lightning before thunder. Then he steps back. 1 step, 2. "We're not done," Cole says quietly. "You and me?" "Looking forward to it, sir." Cole walks away. His boots crunch gravel with each step. The sound fades slowly, too slowly. Inside the barracks, Chio hasn't moved. Her hands are shaking so badly she can't control them. Masumi wraps an arm around her. Fumiko brings water. Kimiko watches Bradley through the window. He stands alone in the compound, watching Cole's retreating figure. His shoulders are tight. His hands are fists. He just made an enemy. And tomorrow, that enemy will have ammunition. Rav, 30 hours. Cole's jeep idles outside Bradley's office. Kimiko is awake. Has been awake since Wars 200. She saw Cole arrive, saw him enter Bradley's building, saw the light come on behind closed curtains. Now she creeps closer, barefoot, silent. The wall is thin wood. Voices carry. "Think nobody knows?" Cole's voice is a knife wrapped in silk. "A sergeant with a Japanese wife? During this war? You think that stays secret?" Bradley's response is quiet. Too quiet to hear. "One report," Cole's words sharpen. "That's all it takes. Sergeant Thomas Bradley, suspected of enemy sympathies due to marital connection to hostile nation. You know what happens then?" Silence. The kind that screams, "Kare wa odosarete iru." He's being blackmailed. Kimiko's chest tightens. Bradley protected Chio. Now Cole is using his wife, his Japanese wife, as a weapon. The cruelty isn't random, it's precise, surgical, the punishment for kindness. Cole continues, "I'm not asking for much, just step back. Next time I request a prisoner's presence, you're somewhere else. You're blind. You're deaf. You're a good soldier who knows when to shut his mouth." The words hang in the air. Then Bradley, "And if I don't?" Then I start asking questions, loudly, about how a sergeant in the United States Army ended up married to a Japanese national, about whether his loyalties are divided, about whether the prisoners under his supervision receive preferential treatment. Kimiko presses her palm flat against the wall. Her heartbeat pulses against the wood. She understands now. Bradley isn't protecting them because it's easy. He's protecting them despite the cost, despite the risk to his career, his marriage, his entire life. And Cole is offering a simple trade: abandon the prisoners or lose everything. The office door opens. Cole steps out. His smile has returned. "Think about it, Sergeant. You have until tomorrow night." He walks past Kimiko's hiding spot, doesn't see her, or pretends not to. His boots crunch gravel in the pre-dawn darkness. The Jeep engine revs. Headlights sweep across the compound. Then silence. Kimiko waits. Counts to 60. Then approaches the office. Bradley is standing at his window, the photograph of Noriko in his hands. His shoulders aren't tight anymore. They're slumped, defeated. On his desk, the paper crane, still there, still folded, still somehow holding together. Kimiko knows what she has to do. She starts folding another crane. This one will carry a different message. This one will carry gratitude. And maybe, just maybe, it will carry courage he doesn't know he needs. The envelope is stamped Red Cross. Kimiko's name is written in her mother's handwriting. Her mother's handwriting. Alive. Her hands shake so violently she nearly drops it. The paper is thin, travel-worn, stamped with dates spanning 6 weeks, Nagasaki to Okinawa, through checkpoints, sensors, military channels, a miracle measured in postmarks. She doesn't open it immediately, can't. The possibility that it contains bad news, partial survival, her father gone, her home destroyed, freezes her fingers. Masumi sits beside her. "Do you want me to read it first?" Kimiko shakes her head. This is hers. Whatever it contains is hers. She opens it. "Kimiko, musume yo." "Kimiko, my daughter. Watashi tachi washinda to omowareta. Sogi wo okonata. Ko wo taita. 40 nichi kan. We thought you were dead. We held a funeral. We burned incense for 40 days. Her mother's words blur through tears. The letter continues. They survived because they were visiting relatives in the countryside, 17 kilometers from the blast. They saw the cloud, felt the ground shake, walked back 3 days later to find neighbors gone, houses gone, a city turned to shadow and ash. But they survived, and now they know she survived too. Tekikoku ni irukedo ikiteru, soredake de juben. You're in enemy hands, but you're alive. That's enough. The barracks gathers around Kimiko. 56 women who've heard nothing from home. 56 women who assumed their families believed them dead. 56 women who now see proof. Letters can reach Japan. Families can respond. The world beyond the wire still exists. Fumiko is crying. How? How did it get through? Kimiko looks at Bradley's office. He sent it, the sergeant. He promised it would go out with the morning transport. He kept his promise. The paper crane, the second one, the one she folded last night, is still in her pocket. She was going to give it to Bradley today, to say thank you, to say, I understand what you're risking. Now she has another reason. She walks across the compound, knocks on his office door. He opens it. His eyes are red again. Different reason this time. In his hand, a telegram. My in-laws, he says. They were evacuated from Hiroshima 3 days before the bomb, visiting a shrine in the mountains, both alive. Kimiko holds out the crane. This is for you, she says, for Noriko, for everything. Bradley takes it, holds it like it might break. Your family, he asks, alive because of you. Behind them, Cole's jeep is returning. The deadline is tonight. Cole never files his report. The transfer orders arrive before he can, reassigned to a supply depot in the Philippines. No explanation, just paperwork signed by Colonel Harrison himself. Bradley never confirms it, but the timing is too perfect. Someone talked, someone with enough rank to make problems disappear. The women spend 3 more months in the camp. 3 months of typing, translation work, medical assistance. 3 months of extra rations earned through labor. 3 months of letters traveling between Okinawa and mainland Japan. When the war ends, repatriation begins. Kimiko is among the first to leave. She packs nothing, she owns nothing, except the original paper crane, the one her sister folded, the one Bradley kept on his desk for weeks before returning it. She finds him on her last morning. He's standing outside his office, watching the transport trucks line up. Sergeant Bradley. He turns, smiles. The exhaustion is still there, but something else, too. Something like peace. Arigato gozaimashita. Thank you. You don't have to thank me, he says. I was just following rules. No, she shakes her head. You were following something else. She presses the crane into his palm. The paper is soft now, worn thin by months of handling, but it holds together. Give this to Noriko, Kimiko says. Tell her we were the same, on opposite sides, but the same. Bradley holds it carefully, nods once. The truck horn sounds, Kimiko boards, finds a seat near the back. Through the canvas flap she watches the camp shrink, the barracks, the office, the sergeant standing alone with a paper crane in his hand, 42 years later. Tokyo, 1987. A Japanese documentary crew finds Kimiko Hayashi, now 64. They want to know about the camps, about the treatment, about what the Americans really did to captured women. She tells them about the summons. the terror. The photograph of Noriko, the letters that saved families, the lieutenant who wanted to hurt them, the sergeant who chose to protect them instead. The words, "Come to my office alone," should have meant violence, she says. Her hands, wrinkled now, fold a paper crane as she speaks. Muscle memory, 60 years of practice. Instead, they meant help, connection, proof that enemies can be human. She holds up the crane. I kept this for 42 years. My sister made it. An American kept it safe. And now it reminds me of the truth. She pauses, looks at the camera. War makes monsters. But it doesn't make everyone a monster. That's what haunts me, not the fear, the kindness I almost refuse to believe.